Hello, beautiful people. It's a girl Gine, and it's Gine's Signatures. I welcome you all for my tutorial for today. So today we'll be making a quite simple gown. So I made this for my clients. They are two. So it's an ashwebi. They're going to be using it for a wedding. So one went for a skirt and a top, and the other went for a gown. But it's going to be almost the same process. So if this is what you're interested in, please kindly sit back, relax, and enjoy it. I made use of a damask fabric of 3 yards. You know, the length is by 60, so it was quite enough. So if this is what you're interested in, how to make all this, just sit back, relax, and enjoy it. So it came out actually very beautiful and nice. So not that I don't have something similar on the tutorial already. I already have something close to this on the tutorial, like how to cut a bustier with yoke and how to cut a flare. So it's nothing too much, but if this is your first time of coming across my video, I just decided to go in depth for all this. So now the first thing is to cut the lower part, which is going to be making up for the length of the gown. So this will be cut in form of a skirt. So the first line I drew there was my shoulder to my knee, and then I'll do my shoulder to my waist. So just place your half length off the table and then get your measurements as you took it from your client's body measurements. So those are the lines that you saw me draw there. So on the waistline, I'll just divide the waist by 4 and then add 1 inch for that, and then my sewing allowances. I'll go to the hip side, divide the hip by 4 and add my sewing allowances as well. So right there on the knee side, I'll just divide the hip by 4 and then mark it. I'll not be adding any sewing allowances. So we have different ways in achieving this, but I've always used this and it has always come out fine because my client does not want that side too tight for her. So I'll take the whole measurement down to the length of the gown like so and then connect it. So that is basically what you see me do. Now I'm going to be cutting both the front and back together because the back is going to be having a zipper. So whatever I'm cutting both front and back together at the same time. So now for the zipper side, I came to the hip line by 1.5 inches, and then on the knee and the waist sides, I used 1 inch respectively. This is just to give the butt a little bit of a space for it to sit properly. So that's why I did it like that, and then I'll go ahead and cut this out. So now for the slits at the back, this my client does not want it to be too slitted, so I'll just do about 20 inches up from the knee side and then cut it out, cut it open. So I went in by half an inch and then I'll slit open like this. And then I'll open up the zipper area. So for the darts, just divide your bust measurement into 2. And so we have the front and the back. So I'll set this aside so that I'll go over to the upper part. So now for the upper part, I'll be drafting this on the paper so that it will be easy for us to see. So I'm going to have to take my shoulder to my chest line, shoulder to bust line, shoulder to under bust, and shoulder to waist line, respectively. I've done my shoulder slopes, then I've come down for my armhole. So basically, we're just going over to divide our nipple to nipple measurement of bust span by 2. And then I added half an inch to that, and then I'll connect all the lines together like this. So right there on the under bust, I'll be going in by 2 inches on the under bust and then on the waistline. Then I'll connect like so. So on the bust point, I'll come down by half an inch and then give my curve, bust curve, a little curve like this so that it will accommodate the bust. And then on the mid parts, I'll be coming in by half inch respectively, and then connect like so. So now for the chest line, I'll be going up by about 1.5 inches, or if you want, you can just place your tape on your shoulder and then come down by the inches you would want to come down to. So I'll now extend the nipple to nipple measurement up there so that I'll get the dart there. So I'll take in half inch respectively to tighten the chest area, and then go up by half an inch from the bust point. So I'll connect it like this. So we have tightened our upper chest. So, and then I'll replace that 1 inch that I used as the dart there. I'm adding half an inch for my joining of the sleeves on the shoulder area. And then for the neck depth, I'll be making use of a chantilly lace. So when you are cutting this, please don't make the neck of your lace too wide, because if you make it too wide, you're going to be running into a whole lot of problems. So I would advise you make it smaller. So I used 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches for the neck depth as well. You know, there's a way lace goes about expanding, so you just need to be careful when doing that. So now I carved out my bust. I divided the bust by 4, and then I added my sewing allowances, and then I carved it out like so. So I'll come to my waist measurement, divide the waist by 4, and then add back the darts. And I discovered I didn't have sewing allowance, so I'll be joining that with an extra sheet of paper. Let me quickly do that. So I'm gonna need to add extra sheet of paper to that, and then added my sewing allowance, because if I don't do that here, I'm going to be forgetting when I'm cutting on my fabric. So don't worry, I'll be making it up for that side when I'm cutting on the fabric. So this is what we have. So now, in order to carve out our armhole curve, to make it sit properly, just do it like this, and then slant it inwards. So this is what we have. Just make it a bit curvy. So that upper part will be the yoke. So for the neck, I wanted to leave it straight because my client does not want a bust or everything showing. So I just gave it a bit of a curve, but just to have a curve there for the neckline. But it's not that obvious. She does not want it. So that's why I left it like that. So I'll go ahead and cut it. Just follow how I'm cutting this, and you understand everything that I did. So this is what we have. So you can see that's the yoke. Then give your underpost a notch so that when you're sewing, everything is going to be properly aligned. So now, in order for me to add the basque effect, I'll be placing an additional paper here. I'll use my tape to add a paper to that place. And then I'll go down from that paper by about 6 inches. You can use 5 inches depending on how long your client wants it to be, but I don't like a situation whereby you're wearing a basque and you're not feeling comfortable. So I'm going to be slanting it from the waist down to that 6 inches. This 6 inches is tantamount to being reduced later. I can reduce it when I'm through. So that's why I just want it to be 6 inches for now. I may reduce it to 5, I may reduce it to 4 later on when I must have finished sewing it. So I'll just come down straight from the dart line like that and then cut it out. So you can see that it's quite easier to do your basque in this way than adding the dart straight up when cutting. Well, anyone that is suitable for you, please kindly go ahead and do. So we have a front piece, so we'll go over to cutting of the back piece shortly. So for the back piece, this is what we have. I've already folded my paper as well. I didn't know I've already gone ahead to start it before running the video. So, this is just like a basic body. So just get your zip allowance, do your shoulder measurements, do your neck width and neck depth for the back is going to be 1 inch for now. And then get your shoulder to your half length. The back is not going to be having a basque, but I'm going to be showing you if you want it to have a basque, you can as well add it. It gives it beauty, but I don't really like it. I prefer it if it's in the top, but I'll just show you how it's going to be by the time you put your own basque at the back. So I just did the armhole because I divided the bust by 4 and then added my sewing allowances. So the next thing now is to get my nipple to nipple measurement to get the dart for the back, which I just did, and I'm connecting the lines like so. So you can see that the length of the gown is the same thing as the front. That's because for those that want the basque to be at the back, that is why I'm showing this tutorial. So then you want to do your dart, you go up by 3 inches from your hip measurement and then connect like this. Then you take your waist measurements and then you add your sewing allowances. And so from that waist measurement, connect to your bust. And then if you want it to have a basque, like I said, you're just going to be connecting from that your waist, just like the way you did it in the front. You see, I came in with my front piece and then marked where it got to, and then you connect it to the midpoint where the zipper is like this, just to give it that basque effect at the back. That is if you want a basque at the back, but I'll not be putting a basque at the back. Sorry for that noise. So I'm not putting a basket at the back, so I'm cutting out this place. I don't need that. So now I'll go ahead and cut all this out. But before that, let me do the design I want. I want to have a keyhole at the back. So from my neck depth, I came down by about 1.5 inches, and then I'll be using my armhole curve to curve this to meet the dark line like this to give it the yoke that I want for the back. So now this is the yoke for the back. If you also want this to be tied at the back, you don't need to add your zipper. All you need to do is to reduce your back measurement by about 1.5 inches or 2 inches, and then you can create your loops for it to be tied. But my client wants it to be a zipper, so that's why we're having a zipper allowance right there. So I'll go ahead and cut all this out now. So you can see the yoke, and then you can see the lower back, how beautiful it looks. So we're through with all this, and then the next thing is to just go ahead. I'll go ahead and cut all this on my fabric, cut out my lining, and then I'll be back to show you. So I've gone ahead to do that. So this is the yoke for the front, as you can see. This is a chantilly lace. So I've gone ahead to cut out and turned the neckline. I doubled it up. Even the back, I doubled it and sew it down, as you can see. So these are the yokes. So this is the sleeve that I've cut out already. So this is the middle point. As you can see, this is the lining and this is the main fabric. I've added my bra foam and my stay. I've ironed it. I did the same thing on the sides as well, as you can see. And then this is the back, the lining, and of course the main fabric. I've ironed stay on them all. So now the next thing for me to do is to just go ahead and sew all this together. So I'll arrange all this and then sew it all together. So I've gone ahead to do that, and this is what we have. I've used my lining to turn it all the way, and you can see the back and then you can see the front, as you can see. So the next thing for me to do now is to create my basque on my skirt, because for the skirt part I've gone ahead to join it as well, so you can see it. So we have different ways to achieve this basque effect for the front, but anyhow you feel you're comfortable with, you can go ahead and use. But I always use this method most times, and it has always worked for me. So I'll just go ahead and then use my chalk to mark the basque effect on the skirt part, like so. Just make sure that the waist is properly aligned together. So when I want to cut this, make sure it's only the upper part you're cutting. So I'll cut like this and then make sure I leave about half an inch when I'm cutting it. That half an inch is going to be serving as like a sewing allowance when I'm attaching it to it. So this is what we have. So I'll open up my temporary zipper that I closed up, open it like that, and I'll do the same thing for the skirt part as well, so that it will be easy for me to sew it when I want to sew it. So the pointed parts should be placed right sides facing each other like that. Then the side seams should properly align. Pin it down. Pin both sides down at the back. Then you pin the fabric at the zipper area as well. So those are the points you need to take note of when you want to sew this, so that everything will properly align. So I've gone ahead to do that. Now I'll take it to my sewing machine and then go and run the stitch. So I've gone ahead to run the stitch and I've already created a basket effect, and I went offline to attach the sleeves because I don't want this tutorial to be too lengthy. So sorry, that bust on that side was flat because I had to create an arc, like a mark there, to attach the flounce that you saw on the thumbnail. So after getting that one, I just multiplied whatever I have there by 2, and then I went ahead to cut out in form of a peplum. I gathered it and then I used my hand needle to stitch it on my dress. So after attaching it, I used an applique to cover up the design. So that was how we came about with this beautiful style. So you can see that it's quite easy, it's quite direct, and it's quite nice. So if you enjoyed watching this tutorial, please don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, and don't forget to share. And like I always say, this is Genius Signatures, and I'll be signing out. Thank you all, and God bless you. See you all in my next tutorial. Ciao.